Hey guys, welcome in. It is Brad with College SportsCast. We are here to do our game day pick'em tonight, and we've got a special guest with us. Jake Crain from Crain and Company is with us. What's up, Jake?
Oh man, just getting ready to see what this weekend of college football is going to bring us. It's been absolutely drunk so far. So who knows? The matchups just keep getting better. They keep getting more consequential. So I'm just excited to see how the chips fall tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm actually going to get started with a game from tonight. It starts in about an hour and a half. This game does. Boise State at UNLV. And Boise State's a 3.5-point favorite. I used DraftKings, Jake, and the spread this morning. I looked at these this morning was 3.5. So we're going to start with that game. It starts in about an hour and a half, I think. And John Hammonds, what do you think on this game to start with?
I like Boise in this game. I think this is probably the preview of the Mountain West championship game. I think it's a prove-it game for UNLV. Can they compete with Boise State and what they bring to the table with Ashton Jeanty and his Heisman race? But at the end of the day, I think Boise State just has too much offense. Ashton Jeanty's having a career year this year, and I think he continues that tonight.
All right, Jake, it's up to you. What do you think? Do you think Boise covers, or what do you think in this game?
3.5. I just hate that number. If I'm going to take a 3.5, it's probably going to be plus money. If not, just buy it down to 2.5. That way, a field goal. You may not win as much money, but you'll still win if we get a walk-off. I tell you, I like the over. It's probably the best bet, I think, in this game. Both these offenses can score. Not that both these defenses are awful, but I think when you kind of see what UNLV's been able to do offensively after the whole Sluka debacle, they've actually gotten a little bit better. Had that tough loss to Syracuse that we saw earlier in the year at the end of the game. But I tell you, I actually like UNLV plus 3.5. It was a plus 4.5 I saw earlier, but the over-under I think was 63.5 somewhere. I do like the over there. As far as can UNLV win the game? If this turns into a track meet and turns into whoever has the ball last is going to win the game, I think that's probably the best path for UNLV. I don't see a game in which it's low scoring for a while and UNLV can't move the ball because we know Genty's going to pop one eventually. So if it's a track meet, I think UNLV's got a shot to win it. Give me UNLV plus 3.5.
All right. So you're taking UNLV in this one. I have to be honest with you. I think Boise's going to cover this, but I could be wrong. I mean, I feel like Boise's got one heck of an offense. And I mean, Jeanty is definitely probably going to break one, maybe two. Who knows? I think he's clearly the best back in the land. But I wanted to ask you while we're on this, what about the Heisman race? Do you think Jeanty has the top shot here for the Heisman race?
He's in about as good of a position as he possibly could be, and Liberty, losing to Kennesaw State, kind of really turning the race up for the Group of 5 teams, so he can get in that slot, kind of reinvigorated a little bit for the teams that do have one loss, even though Boise State's one loss was to Oregon, and Jeanty popped off in that game. So he's at the top right now, but they're going to continue to play in big games so you can have those big moments, because when you look at everybody else, the quarterbacks that he's going up against, they're going to keep playing in these big games. Therefore, it allows you to accumulate numbers when a lot of people are watching and then have those Heisman moments. So he's as good as a bet as anybody right now. Boise State just has to, stay relevant when it comes to being the Group of 5 team that can get in the playoff to really cement it in my eyes.
Right. All right. We are going to move on to Washington at Indiana. Indiana is a 6-point favorite. College Game Day is actually in Bloomington this week. First time, I think, for them. Hammonds, what do you think on this one with, their quarterbacks out this week?
Well, I mean, this is probably going to be Indiana's biggest test they've had when it comes to defense. Washington ranks first against the pass, and they've had 2 weeks to prepare for Indiana. So, and like you said, Indiana's playing without their quarterback. They'll probably lean heavy on the ground attack this week. Washington did give up 200 yards on the ground to Iowa 2 weeks ago. So Indiana can play that style, but they're more of a throwing team. I think they'll do just enough. What's the spread you said? 6. I think they'll do just enough to cover this game and win.
6.
So give me Indiana and the 6 points for them to cover.
All right. And just of the season, I think so far, what do you think here, in Bloomington with College Game Day there?
Obviously Rourke not being able to play changes the dynamic a little bit of this game. If you look, this Washington team, yes, they have Will Rogers. We know they do want to throw it around, but it's not as a prolific passing team from a volume standpoint as what he had with Mike Leach when Will was at Mississippi State, and even when Jed was at Arizona last year. I like the under in this game. I think it's at 55. I can't believe it went up from 53.5. I think the under is the best bet in this game. As far as would Indiana cover the -6? If I had to pick between these two, I would take Indiana to cover the 6. But why would I not just buy Washington up to +7.5 and take that money there? But if I had to take this one, I'd go Indiana -6. I think they find a way. I think the defense really steps up, and Will Rogers gets a strip sack, and Indiana scores a defensive touchdown to help cover the spread.
All right, good stuff, man. So, they're one of the prolific offenses in the country, but losing your quarterback here for this game has definitely got to hurt. So, you're talking about taking the under. That's probably a good bet on this one, I would think, more than likely. But I do think Indiana is going to cover. And then the next game, guys, this is a big one. And who would have thought, in August when we started this for college football, that Notre Dame and Navy would be quite this big. But Navy's still undefeated. John, what do you think here? Notre Dame is a 14-point favorite.
This is tough. Navy likes to run the ball. Notre Dame likes to run the ball. Notre Dame's really good on third down defense. Navy's been really good at, scoring points. I think I'm going to lean Notre Dame. But to me, this is going to be a really test to see where the Irish stand because, they play Navy coming up. They play Army coming up. So I think they take care of business tomorrow in East Rutherford, New Jersey, and they pick up this win against Navy.
All right, Jake. Like I said, this is a game that I wouldn't have thought would have been quite this big, but, it's got playoff implications in this game.
Yeah, not just for Notre Dame. I think if you would have told somebody that, hey, the Notre Dame-Navy game is going to have playoff implications, you'd have thought it was just for Notre Dame to see if they can stay in the playoff hunt, not allow Navy to get a signature win and boost their chances and really put them in a position as we get down the stretch to be that group of 5 representative in the college football playoff. When I look at this game, everybody all week is going to be talking about, upset alert and watch out for Navy. And Notre Dame's going to hear that. But I think, this Navy offense, while it's not as new as what Army's doing in the past game from a triple option standpoint, the bag's not as deep. They're not willing to take some of the risks that Army will. It's different. And I think can keep them in games. I think now 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7 isn't as undoable as it used to be. The thing about Notre Dame is they've relied a lot on Riley Leonard's legs. And with limited possessions, if Notre Dame on offense, isn't hitting on all cylinders and aren't able to make some of the plays out in the open field that they should against a Navy defense, and Navy's able to hang around, and you look up and this game's in the high teens or the low 20s with 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, Navy's going to have a chance. So give me Navy.
That's kind of where I'm leaning, Jake. I mean, I think this spread is too high, to be quite honest with you. I feel like Navy's going to keep this, kind of muck this game up and keep it kind of close. So I'm going to take Navy in the points here, the plus 14 on this one as well. I think that's a good call, man. All right, the next one, we're going to go to the SEC. Oklahoma is at Ole Miss. High number here, John. Minus 20 this morning on DraftKings for Ole Miss at home in Oxford.
I mean, Oklahoma is just not, a really good football team right now. Their offense is not real good. Their O-line's not that great. Now, they do have a really good defense. But is that going to be enough to stop Jackson Dart and this really good Ole Miss offense? Ole Miss, to me, needs a statement win. They lost to Kentucky. They lost a heartbreaker to LSU. And I think they win this game going away Saturday. What do you think, Jake?
Yeah, I just, I think what we were looking forward to the most for this Ole Miss team was defensively, right? That was kind of the last piece of the puzzle for them to take that next step and for Lane Kiffin to put them in a position, to play in the SEC championship game and to make the playoff and kind of push that further along as opposed to just talking about it. When I look at this game, I think Oklahoma's going to fight. Defensively, they will, just because that's who they are. They've got great leadership over there. You look at the merry-go-round at quarterback. Ole Miss knows they have to thread the needle the rest of the way. They can't lose another game. If they do, it better be in the SEC championship game, which is going to be tough for them to make even if they win out. But a 10-2 Ole Miss gets in. A 9-3 Ole Miss does not get in. I think Oklahoma fights for a while, but Ole Miss ends up covering this. I think they'll win, 38-13, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I think Oklahoma is starting Arnold again. I'm pretty sure. So, they're back starting him. Their offense has been.
It's a merry-go-round, really. I mean, it's.
Yeah, they're back starting him. The offense has been terrible. The offensive line, I think, is one of the most terrible parts of this Oklahoma team, if you ask me. Ole Miss can put up points. Trey Harris is excellent. So, I'm going to be with you. Even though this is a high number, I'm going to say that Ole Miss covers this at home. So, and then we're going to stay in the SEC here, Jake. We got Missouri, a one-loss Missouri, by the way, that's not getting a lot of respect at all, it seems like, in the country. At Alabama. Alabama is an 18-point favorite coming off of what they have done the last 3 weeks. It seems high to me, considering what they've done the last 3 weeks. Does Alabama wake up? Does Kalen DeBoer get these guys going this week, John? 18 points.
I think Alabama's going to be pissed off. They lost on the road to Tennessee. They lost to Vanderbilt on the road. I just think this spread is too high with the way Alabama has been playing. So I think Missouri can do some things on offense, but I think Milroe is just that better on the other side. He's elite level. His passing is probably why he's going to be a top 10 pick, to be honest. Now, Alabama's pass defense is not great. They'll give up some plays, but I just don't think Missouri has enough to win this game. And like I said, I think Alabama comes in this game and they take care of business. But I want to take the Missouri in the points. I just think the spread's really too high with how Alabama's played the last 2 or 3 games.
All right. I mean, that's fair if you ask me, I think. So, Jake, what do you think? Is this spread too high?
No, I'd take it all the way. Alabama minus 23.5. I think Brady Cook's going to try and play. And if, everybody's beat up this time of year, but if he can't run, they're in a lot of trouble. Noel, they're starting running back, one of the best zone runners in college football. He's not going to play. And there were already questions about this Missouri offense, which is what we thought was going to be the best part of it. We thought the questions would be on defense, but throughout the season so far, at least in aggregate for a majority of the time, the offense has struggled. They're trying to find ways to get Luther Burden the ball. Weiss Jr. gets a lot of looks, and that's great. But this team struggled, and I think Alabama all week is going to hear how down everybody is on them, and they deserve that criticism. And it's not just about Alabama bouncing back and being such a good team that they figured it out. I don't think Missouri's very good. I think Alabama's going to beat them to death, to be honest with you. I think it may be the best bet on the board.
Interesting, because Bama's just not looked good. I mean, they really haven't in the last 3 weeks. I mean, they haven't looked great. I mean, they barely survived at home. South Carolina, everybody knows they got beat by Vandy. They got beat by Tennessee. And to be honest with you, Jake, I'm not so sure that South Carolina is that much better of a team than this Missouri team. I'm not sure.
I can kind of, I can.
I'm not sure.
I think South Carolina's got one of the top front sevens in the country. I think one of Missouri's biggest problems is up front.
They do. Their defensive front is definitely better.
Yeah.
I don't know. Right. I
mean,
South Carolina's defensive front is definitely better.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'll give them that for sure. I just meant overall, if they're playing, I mean, to me, I think Bama's winning this game at home. It's in Tuscaloosa. I mean, I think they are going to be mad. I think they're going to be playing pissed. I do agree with that. But something in me says Missouri's going to cover this 18 points. So that's where I'm going to go. All right. So the next one is in the Big Ten. I wouldn't have. Illinois is a one-loss team playing the number one team now in the nation, Oregon, and they are a 21 and a half point favorite at home, John.
Illinois is up and down at times. They have a really good defense. They played really well last week against Michigan, but Michigan isn't the old Michigan from a year ago. They're 24th in the country in sacks, 36th in the country in interceptions. I think they can slow down Dylan Gabriel a little bit, but I just think Oregon is just playing at a high level right now. I mean, they beat a really, really good Ohio State team that's probably going to be in the running for the college football playoff and national championship. Give me Oregon and all the points. I just don't think Illinois can hang in this game, especially it being out in Eugene.
Right. All right, Jake, number one, Oregon. Kind of sounds weird to say, but I mean, after the, beating Ohio State, they got the number one slot here.
Yeah, look, I think Illinois, you look at that Michigan game, it was a nice win for them. They, kind of fought it in a phone booth, were able to slow it down. They've been a pass-to-run team, or at least most of their explosive plays and how they've identified offensively has been Luke Altmaier creating, throwing the ball down the field. And against Michigan, who is talented on defense, Altmaier, I think he only threw for like 80 yards, something like that. It's just going to be such a different style of game because of Oregon's ability to utilize space. Even if you want to load the box and try and take away the run, the way Dylan Gabriel and Will Stein, the offensive coordinator, are able to spread you out, really kind of spread you thin, create those one-on-one matchups, give them the leverage advantage. I think this game could feel close for a while, and then we look up and Oregon's covering, but it feels like a backdoor cover by Illinois. Like they're down 28 with 3.5 minutes to go, and Illinois scores a touchdown to lose by 21. Give me Oregon to dominate and win, but Illinois to cover.
Yep. I mean, I can see that. Brett Bielema has done a great job here at Illinois. I mean, I don't think anybody can argue that sitting where they are with one loss at the middle of the season here for them. I mean, I feel like Oregon is definitely winning this game. You know, the 21.5 is a little much. I mean, it seems like high, but at the same time, I think it's going to be really close. I think this game's going to be somewhere in the 20 to 25 range. So it depends on where it falls. You know what I mean? One way or another. So I'm going to take Oregon, but I can see what you're talking about, Jake, as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Texas and Vandy. What do you guys think on that? Texas an 18-point favorite. Vandy's at home. John, what do you think on this?
I mean, which Vandy you gonna get? You gonna get the Alabama Vandy, Kentucky Vandy, or you gonna get the Ball State? Like they struggled last week, you know, and then like on the other side you got Texas. I mean, I felt like their offensive line got exposed a little bit last week. They was all over Twin Years all night. I think Vanderbilt's going to try to do some of that, but I don't think Vanderbilt is on the level of Georgia, but Vanderbilt has improved. And, you know, they beat Kentucky on the road, like I said. You know, they beat Alabama, only lost by 3 in overtime at Missouri. So, you know, Diego Pavia has a lot of energy in Nashville right now. He's a dual-threat quarterback. He can extend plays. He can do some things with his feet. But I think Texas wins this game, but I think Vanderbilt – I'm going to take Vanderbilt in the points. I think this is a bounce-back game, like I said, for Texas, but I think Vanderbilt will keep this game close for a little bit.
Interesting. I think Texas is one of the better teams in the country. Jake, what do you think here?
Yeah, I mean, they have the personnel, right, and the depth. That Georgia came out, kind of punched them in the teeth a little bit, went back and forth, and I tell you, when I look at this game, I think Vanderbilt's going to put their best foot forward. They're not sneaking up on anybody anymore. But what kind of separates this Vanderbilt team is, yeah, they need some luck, but they don't need all the luck. They need to catch a couple breaks, but they don't have to catch all the breaks. When you look at the personnel they have, when you look schematically at what they do offensively, you get some kind of veer concepts, triple option concepts. Negate some of the athleticism on defenses that they're going to play that do have better athletes than they do, like Alabama did, like Texas is going to. The big question is going to be time of possession. Can Vanderbilt do to Texas what they did to Alabama, double them up in time of possession, convert the 3rd and 4s, the 3rd and 5s, the 3rd and 6s? Because all big plays aren't 70-yard touchdowns. One of the things that really helped Vanderbilt, kind of slowly win that game against Alabama was the amount of times they got 7 yards on 3rd and 6.5. That does something to a defense. So the Texas, you look at Texas at the quarterback position. Quinn Ewers getting pulled a little bit early to go sit on the sideline, give Arch a series. If there's any doubt in Sark's mind, the longer Vanderbilt's able to hang around, because they believe, you don't got to convince them. I think not only does Vanderbilt cover, I think this is going to be a pretty tight game all the way up to the end. I think Texas wins, but I like Vandy to cover the plus 18.
All right. So Jake only had a few minutes here with us tonight, so I was trying to kind of run through and get through as many as I could while Jake is here. But before I let you go, I know you've got to run, but real quick, college football playoff picture. Give us a rundown of what you think it's going to look like by the end of the season.
Well, I mean, right now it's just kind of a numbers game, right? I mean, you have the 4, automatic bids and then the buys if you finish in the top 4, which is basically the Power 4 conference champion winners. Is Notre Dame going to be able to make it? They're going to be a bid stealer if they can, because, again, they're not in a conference. As much as Notre Dame's a big brand, they would still be a bid stealer. Then you get that automatic group of 5 qualifier, right? So really we're talking about 7 at-large bids for the teams that don't win the Power 4 conference championship. So it's a numbers game. So we feel like the Big Ten and the SEC both are at least going to get 3 teams in a piece, right? Including the team that wins the conference championship, possibly more than that. They could get 4. Hell, some could even get 5 the way it works out. So which one of the Big 12 and the ACC are going to get the most teams in. Will only one of the Big 12 or ACC get 2 teams in if Notre Dame makes it? Because I don't think 2 Group of 5 teams are going to get in there. So it's going to continue to be wild. We're going to talk about the bubble, which we now have in college football. But, man, what a great year to have the most parity that we've had when we have a 12-team playoff in its debut season. So I appreciate y'all having me.
I got a quick question. I got a quick question for you, Rick,
Go
real quick where you go. We're getting ready to do Kentucky Auburn here in a minute, and I just kind of wanted just a few seconds to your thoughts. What you think might transpire Saturday? Which offense scores first?
Which offense scores first?
Is it going to be ugly? That's what I want to know.
You mean the team that wins?
Yeah.
Look, I know Kentucky's had ups and downs. I just don't think this Auburn team knows how to win. They can be outplaying you for most of the game, but they tend to find a way in the big moments to crumble. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they find a way against Kentucky. I know it's a pick 'em, but in good conscience, Kentucky's one of my bets this weekend, one of my leans, because, I made a lot of money betting against this Auburn team. They don't know how to finish. I don't think they still know how to finish. Give me Kentucky to win that game.
Well, my thing is, Jake, it's either going – because Brad even told me, it's either going to be Kentucky's going to blow out Auburn or Auburn's going to blow out Kentucky.
There's not going to be either way.
It's neither going to be neither or. And
yeah.
I think it's going to be one of them weird games that you're not expecting. Yeah.
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
no,
Jake, I appreciate it.
We
I know you got a
appreciate
pregnant
you, man.
wife and you got to run,
Yeah.
and I do appreciate you being here, man.
Of course, man. Y'all hit me up anytime.
You're one of the best, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it, guys. Y'all be
All
good,
right, man.
You too, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you, Jake.
Thank you.
All right, guys. So I was really trying to run through that as quick as I could and get through as many as we could because Jake come on just a couple minutes before.
I kind of got his little opinion about Kentucky Auburn. I kind of wanted to hear because he's always been consistent.
I mean, I was trying to get to it, but it was down the list. So.
And he always stays consistent with Auburn. Yeah. That's what I love about him because his dad played at Auburn. Like I wouldn't say he's a homer, but he's a guy that is very consistent with them, and he gives his fair take on the game, and that's what I love about Jake. Oh,
so
by the way,
if you guys don't know, Jake's dad played. Jake's dad played for Auburn, and he grew up around Auburn and stuff when he was younger. And he's a big Auburn guy, but he does this for a living. He's on the Daily Wire with the Crain and Company show, and he's got a nationally syndicated show. So just to give you guys some background on Jake and his brother Blaine, they're together on the show with David Cohn. So if you guys don't know, I was trying to get through as many as I could because Jake told us he only had about 25 minutes. He has a pregnant wife and he had to run, had some other stuff to do. So it was just awesome for him to be here. And he done a
really great job too. He done good.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So if I didn't get to y'all's comments and all that, it's because I was actually really trying to run through as many teams as I possibly could while Jake was with us. Normally we kind of go through and talk a little more.
We almost got there.
Yeah. I was really trying to kind of run through. So John, right before the LSU Texas A&M game, I got you. I was trying. He told us he only had about 25 minutes, and so I was trying to get through as many as I possibly can with Jake while he was here. So I think I even skipped picking a couple of games as we were going through all this. So I mean, Jake on this one said take Vanderbilt. He said he's pretty comfortable that they're going to cover the 18 points on this. I mean, for me, I'm still stuck. Like it's Vanderbilt. Like and Texas, I think, is a national championship contender, and they're coming off of a loss where they didn't look great. And I feel like Sark's going to be kicking their ass all week long.
Yeah, but I know they didn't look great, but you got to remember it was Georgia. Now, if it was anybody else, it would
That's
be
what
one
I'm saying.
thing,
I
but,
think
like,
Sark's going to be kicking their ass all week long, and they're going to come out fired up and ready to play. And if I'm Vandy, I'm not looking for that. I was hoping that Texas would beat Georgia, not Georgia beats them 30-15.
mm-hmm.
Like, I think Texas wins this going away, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. That's just my opinion on it. But, I mean, yes, David Cohn is on his show as well. But, man, it was really cool. Jake would come back on again sometime. He's a great dude. He does all kinds of podcasts. I mean, not just – he is on – if you go around, he's on everywhere. But, I mean, Jake on their show, I mean, they have Josh Pate and they have – I mean – they have everybody on their show.
Tim Brando.
And
Tim
stuff.
Brando
So,
was actually on there this week.
yeah, Tim Brando was on there this week. One day that either today or yesterday, might have been yesterday. Tim Brando was on there. I mean,
you wonder how Tim Brando feels about tomorrow night. He's a big LSU guy.
Yeah,
he's a big LSU fan.
All right, guys. So if I apologize to our fans as far as running through all this, not putting up posts and comments and stuff. But I was really trying to get through as many as I possibly could. So while Jake was here. So the next game we're going to get to, John, is Penn State at Wisconsin. Penn State is a 6.5 point favorite at Wisconsin. And Penn State's still undefeated. Wisconsin, believe it or not, is like 5-2. I thought early in the year they kind of looked lost, but they lost their quarterback and looked better. Who would have thought, So
you ain't gonna believe what I'm it's getting ready to come out of my mouth. And we've not been able to say this about Penn State in a very long time, but they have the offense compared to Alabama. They actually they're improving every single week. They're getting better every week at the offensive position. I think this line is too low. I think this line should be more, to be honest. So give me Penn State. They cover this game. Wisconsin is just not a good offensive team. And they're going up probably against one of the most physical defenses in the country. They're going to struggle to even get on the scoreboard tomorrow. But give me Penn State all day long. They cover the 6.5.
Yeah, it looks like that's the consensus here. Everybody that's on with us seems like is taking Penn State to cover here in this game. I have Penn State in my college football playoff. If they're going to get there, they got to win this game. I know it's at Wisconsin. I know they're tough at home. I'm sure going to try to ground and pound them as much as they can. But I'm with you guys. I'm going to take Penn State and to cover this game. Offensively, I think they're coming along. And defense, I think they have one of the better ones in the nation. And before I move on to the next one, Josh, I picked Navy to cover the spread, 14 points. I think Notre Dame is going to win this game. But I kind of think it's going to be a struggle game. And it's going to be like, I don't know, it's going to be like 28-21 or – something like that, 24, 21, 20, somewhere in that range. I kind of think it's going to be a struggle game for Notre Dame, but a win. So, like I said, guys, I kind of rushed through some of that, so I'm not even sure if I said some of my picks, to be honest. When you have somebody on the caliber of Jake Crain, his insight and stuff, if you guys watch his show, I mean, he's really good at what he does and he has great insight. And I was glad he snuck in a little bit there about the Auburn and Kentucky game. All right. LSU at Texas A&M. This is basically a pick'em game at Kyle Field. I've got this morning A&M was a 1 point favorite in this game. it's basically a pick 'em at that. So, John, you going with the Aggies or the Tigers?
I think I'm going to go with the Tigers. And I say that because I trust Nussmeier more than I do Weigman. You know,
Is Wigman back?
Yeah.
Did he get hurt early?
Yeah, I think he's back this week.
Oh, is he back? Okay.
Yeah, and two, he did not have a great
OTs.
game. I think in the last game. So, you know, the Aggies' run defense is really stout, but they have been vulnerable against the pass. The spread was from 3.5 to 2.5. I just see more value in putting the money on Tigers to win straight up against the Aggies. I just don't think. Now, I will say the home field advantage is a big plus because it's in Texas A&M and they're going to have the crowd behind them. But I just pick.
Yeah, but which is more chaos?
Yeah,
it's hard for me to figure out which one be more chaos.
I think I'm going to go with the quarterbacks. I trust Nussmeier more than I do Connor Weigman. And
all right, so both of these teams lost in week 1, and then both of them have been undefeated since. These are the two undefeated teams in the SEC.
You know what? What's going to be
LSU and A&M.
You know what's crazy about this game is the winner of this game is going to get close to locking up a shot to go to the SEC championship. Like it's.
I mean, the winner of this game definitely has the advantage. They're in the driver's seat. They have the advantage. That's for sure.
So,
you know, because
I expect a really good game.
Both of these teams lost week 1.
Mm-hmm. I expect a really good game.
And then they've been undefeated since.
And many,
and
many didn't even think A&M would be in this position. I mean,
listen, the year, I am one of them. I have not been I said I was going to have to see it. I know a lot of people picked it because of the new coach and Elko coming in down there and stuff. But I still, at the beginning of the season, was saying I got to see it before I can believe it. Well, they're starting to turn me. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I think that they are going to be bad and lose this game. They've been playing well. I mean, they've had some quarterback issues and still winning games. They have a great defense, and that's the one thing about LSU that they don't have is a good defense. And this is at Kyle Field. I think I'm going to go off the wall here for me and take A&M at home. I mean, John, help me because I'm losing my mind. I'm taking Texas A&M. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm not real sure. All right, John Roberts. A&M will overlook LSU because of Auburn, because of the Auburn game next week.
Mm-hmm.
Shane says A&M at home.
Hasn't been anything since they fired Coach O. I kind of disagree with that opinion, but
all right, John. Auburn and Kentucky. I put this in here mainly because Jake was going to be on. And Jake is an Auburn guy. We're Kentucky guys. And I thought we would have a good discussion because Jake's great at the way he breaks things down and stuff. So I'm glad he snuck in a little bit. He did say Auburn is just not good at finishing, and he's won a lot of money doing that, picking them to not finish and not cover and not win games. So he's doing the same this week. Kentucky was opened as a 3.5-point favorite in this game somehow. I know it's at Kroger Field, but they have been god awful at Kroger Field. Commonwealth is what I like to call it. But they've been god awful at home. I mean, honestly, to be honest with you. And John, where do you go with this game? I mean, I don't even know what to. I have no idea. Both teams stink. Somebody's got to win. Auburn might have five interceptions. Kentucky might have. Who knows? They might have 5 fumbled snaps. I mean, and kicking snap fumbles and stuff. I mean, who knows?
I'm just laughing at you, Brett. The worst thing possible could happen in this game. That's what it's.
I mean, honestly, who the hell knows?
Oh goodness. Okay, so here's where I'm going to take this. We'll get through this really quick. Both teams, that's what I was telling Jake. Both teams have struggled to score, right? I trust the better defense in this game. Auburn is, Auburn's offense is 103rd in the country in scoring this season. I'm not sure where Kentucky is in that regard. But John Roberts, he's cracking me up. Both teams have had trouble putting points up, like I said. But Kentucky has the better defense, I think.
Stop it, John.
Stop it, John. Here we go. Here's the thing. Auburn is 105th in the country in turnover margin, okay? In a game
well,
of
said,
this
they might have
magnitude,
5 interceptions.
That's what I'm saying. In a game of this magnitude, between two poor offenses, giving a team a short field like that can be fatal in a game like this. So I'm going with Kentucky. Just kick them while they're down. You know what I mean?
I'll be honest with you, John. Kentucky should win this game, but will they?
Really should. Will they not?
I mean, they should win this game, but will they?
Will they though?
Here's my thing, and I'm going to keep this real for just a second. Mark Stoops' mother died this week, a couple of days ago, a couple of nights ago. Many prayers to them and Stoops family and everything else. He's been here a long time, guys. 12 years now. He's been at Kentucky. He's been one of the better coaches, whether you like him right now or not. It is an awful thing he's been, having to deal with in the middle of getting ready for this game. Who knows what to expect, to be quite honest with you. I think every guy, pretty much, most guys, I'm going to say 98% of men in this world will tell you losing a mother is tough. It's definitely a very, very tough thing to go through, tough to deal with.
Here's where I get with this, I hate that his mother died. Many prayers to his mother and whatnot. And then there's the football aspect of it where, fire Stoops. Stoops needs to go. You get what I mean? Like, that can be all distractions to a team and to the coach. I mean, you don't know what he's been doing. You don't know if he's been sitting with his mother the whole time.
I know. How sick she's been.
Has he been with her the whole time?
What they've been going through? I mean, who knows, honestly.
There's a lot of variables in that. And I know we're laughing about the game in itself in general, but Brad, man, this game's going to be ugly, man. I mean, you got A&M and LSU playing at the same time, right around the same time. Like, who's really going to watch our game with Auburn? Like, I mean,
Kentucky and Auburn fans are the only ones. Nobody else is going to tune into this game. To be quite honest with you,
it's going to be ugly.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Then we say that. and then something crazy happens.
Josh,
crazy,
you might be right. I mean, they may step up and play good just for the honor of Coach Stoops. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, who knows what to expect?
I'll say this. If Kentucky loses this game, this season's over with.
Oh, I mean, it's 100%.
I say that because you got Tennessee and Texas coming up, and then you got
this is
Murray
a must
State
win to get to a bowl game. You have to
win this game if you're going to go to a bowl.
This is a must win to get to a bowl game. And I know Kentucky fans have been hollering, we don't want to just make a bowl game, but I guarantee you we don't want to just not make a bowl game. I guarantee you that. So this is a must win to win a bowl game. I'm going to take Kentucky in this one because I think Kentucky should win this at home.
They're the better team.
I thought they're a better team, I think, but who knows? I mean,
I'll say this real quick. This is one of those games where we talk about this, and the most stupidest thing happens, and it ends up in a shootout. Like, just dumb stuff. Poor John Roberts. Did he say butt fumble on the thing?
He did.
Oh,
he
God
did. Yeah.
Almighty.
He said butt fumble for the win. That's what I was laughing about.
At this rate, I wouldn't be shocked.
That's what I was cracking up about.
I would not be shocked. I can just tell you.
All right.
Oh,
a lot of fun here with this game, and probably wouldn't have had
we're
quite
not
that
making
much
fun.
fun. And said a few of those things if Jake was still with us, because I respect Jake a lot. So.
I do too. It's just a horrible game. And I don't mean that disrespectfully to Auburn and Kentucky, but these are between two teams that are not good. Because
it's not. But I want to end this Kentucky and Auburn talk with this. Truly, many prayers to the Stoops family in Oklahoma and at Iowa, the Stoops people and the family at Kentucky. I mean, everywhere. We got not just Mark, but Mike Stoops is there as well. You got Oklahoma, with Bob Stoops, and they're having to go through this as well, and they're playing tomorrow as well. So it is very tough. Like I said, I don't think there is a man alive that will tell you that losing a mother is not one of the hardest things to go through in the world. So,
John Roberts said Jake called Auburn the worst team in the SEC.
I mean, I think them or Mississippi State, but if Kentucky loses tomorrow, I'm going to tell you guys right now, it might be Kentucky. I'm just saying.
Brad, he's just saying.
I'm just saying. I didn't say who would win. Okay, John Roberts.
On his show. Don't worry, everybody. If Kentucky loses tomorrow, you will hear Brad on the Kentucky post game doing another rant. I can already hear it now.
I'm going to try to behave myself. I'm trying.
Try.
No guarantees, but I'm trying.
Yeah.
All right, SMU at Duke. This is the only ACC game that I saw worthy. I'm going to be honest with you. It's getting hard every week. I look for an ACC game that I think would be worthy of being on the show. And SMU and Duke is 2 one-loss teams. I mean, they're like 6-1, 5-1. I can't remember both of them's record, but they're 2 one-loss teams here. Very important game here in the ACC. I mean, the winner of this game has, again, a leg up to at least be in the running for the ACC championship game. You got SMU and Pitt next week, and Pitt's still undefeated and smashed Syracuse last night. So this, I feel like, is an important game in the ACC. And, John, FSU and Miami's playing this week, and I didn't even think that game was even worthy to talk about. So SMU and Duke.
Here's the thing.
SMU's 11-point spread.
I think that's a little high considering, you know, I know Duke lost to Georgia Tech last week, but this game is at Duke. You know, they're sending out one of their top defenses against SMU. Both defenses are very stingy when it comes to making plays. Now, Duke has done a better job at keeping the scoring down, and I think they're going to try to do that too. They've held their opponents to 21 points or less at home. But here's the thing. SMU went to Louisville and won on the road against a team that's probably better than Duke. And it wouldn't take me much to pick SMU in this game. But I think I'm going to go Duke, but I'm going to take Duke in the points. Does that work?
Yep. Yeah, you can take the plus 11.
I think SMU is going to keep this game a one-possession game, and I think this is going to come down to a final possession. And listen, you know, we talked about it last week, Brad. I've always been a big fan of Rett Lashley, his offense. I even said that if something happened to Stoops and he left, I would go after him.
I was just getting ready to say that.
I mean, he does some impressive stuff on the offensive side of the ball, but I think Duke wins this game. But then again, I want to pick SMU, but I'm just going to take the easy route and take Duke in the points because I think this game comes down to who makes the play at the end in a one possession game.
Talking about Rett Lashley, I mean, SMU has a heck of an NIL, stuff going on down there. He's handled all that. I mean, in Dallas and taking it to the ACC now. I mean, they're like 6-1. I mean, I think Rett Lashley is very impressive, way beyond his offense because his offense is great and everything. So I agree with you. If something happens, I know the Kentucky fans are all screaming John Summerall, and I love John Summerall. I'm just not sure that he is recruited and played at a level, NIL and everything else, for the Kentucky stage just yet, where I think Rett Lashley would be ready to go. And offensively, we have been not good. Let's just put it that way. And Rett Lashley could definitely put some offense on the field. But this game, SMU at Duke, I mean, this is, on the road for SMU here. But I really like Rett Lashley's offense, and I think you guys know me if you've followed enough to know that I'm kind of an SMU fan. It goes way back for me. I'm in the way back machine on the SMU bandwagon. Everybody who follows me probably knows that Dickerson is my favorite running back of all time. And the Pony Express was going on when I was like 8-9 years old. And it's one of my first football memories and first loves was that.
Listen, I love you, brother. But the repeat stuff of the Stoops and all this stuff, until he's gone, you're just going to have to deal with it, brother. Like, you posting and getting upset and getting agitated is not going to change anything. That's all I got to say.
I mean, it's the same thing. It's the same thing with, and you was on the opposite side with Calipari. Perry, Clyde.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. There's no different, if you ask me, when it comes to that.
Yeah.
There's no difference whatsoever. I'm gonna take the Mustangs here. I think Duke does play well at home. I really don't feel like this is going to be a blowout by any means, but give me a 14-point win here by the Mustangs, and I think they'll cover the spread and move on in the ACC. And if they do get this win by that, or get the win, period, they're going to be in good position going to Pittsburgh next week.
Yep.
No, I take that back. I think Pittsburgh comes to them. Pittsburgh comes to Dallas next week. All right, we're going to end the show. I put this one kind of on because of Jake, but we're going to end the show Cincinnati at Colorado. I was going to give Jake the chance to kind of talk about this Colorado team and Coach Prime and Shedeur and Travis Hunter, and kind of talk about them being, I think, 5-2. They've got the 2 losses, and surprisingly, John, Cincinnati's 5-2. Both of these teams are sitting at 5-2 in the Big 12.
It's actually one of the better underrated games of the week, of the weekend.
It is.
Granted, it's a 10:30 slate. It's a late game, but I mean, if you're up for staying up that late, I mean, here's what I'm going to say. To me, this is going to be a test for Cincinnati. They've been pretty stout defensively to this point. But Colorado's an animal when it comes to offensive identity. You got Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders. They're really, really good. With that said, playing at an altitude up in that air in Colorado can be tough on teams. It can wear teams out. And Colorado,
especially late at night like that.
Yeah, and Colorado is good at home. They're even better this year on the road. They went down to UCF and took care of business. Colorado's the better team in this game, and they should take advantage of this. And they're going to improve to 6-2. And guess what, everybody? Coach Prime's going to go to a bowl game he's going to go to a bowl game.
If they get to 6-2 this weekend, listen, I got to give it to him. He's doing a heck of a job, to be honest with you. I mean, even sitting at 5-2 and in this game and at home, being a 6.5-point favorite here. I mean, Shedeur Sanders is playing really well. I don't know that he's tops in the country like they want you to believe, but he's playing really well. He's definitely top 5, top 10, quarterback in the country.
Here's the thing about this game. Cincinnati's going to have trouble stopping Colorado from scoring.
Here's my thing. Is Travis Hunter healthy enough? Is he really going to be able to play? The last game, he didn't play much at all the second half, if any. And, he is banged up. He hasn't been playing near as many snaps the last 2 games as he was. And, because I think Travis Hunter is clearly the best player on this team. It's not even close, if you ask me.
Without a doubt. Yeah.
I mean, it's not even close to me. If I'm a draft guy, I'm taking Travis Hunter. I mean, that's just all there is. You get him healthy, that dude is insanely athletic, and knows how to play. So I'm going to take Colorado in this game.
I will say too, Brad, there's a couple of games that we didn't mention that I think need a little attention, and I'm not saying that all of them are needing attention, but there's a few.
There is sometimes. I'm only picking 12 each week.
Oh, I know.
So.
Like, for instance, BYU will get tested on the road at UCF, even though UCF is not that great. That's a road game away from Provo. How will they?
BYU and UCF is a good game. Yeah.
How will they respond? Then you got Michigan and Michigan State, which I think, I think that's at the Big House, and how do they respond after losing to Illinois like that in a big rivalry game? And then you got
Jerry. Before you move on real quick. If Coach Prime's sitting at 6-2, and they can continue this run and stay in the talk of the college football playoff, depends on how long. Now, if they lose another game here this week, next week, and are out of it, then I think the Coach of the Year stuff is a little bit too much. But if they can win this week and maybe next week and kind of stay in the college football playoff talk with week 11 or something, then maybe the Coach Prime Coach of the Year stuff would have some legitimacy. Okay, go ahead.
No,
I just wanted to throw that in there.
What I was going to say was, and then you talked about Miami and FSU, which don't need to really be talked about because Miami's probably going to wax the floor with FSU this weekend. So.
Yeah. So, and Clemson's got the week off. This is their bye week, I think.
They're off this week.
So, Clemson
Georgia
was not on the.
Georgia and Tennessee are off too this week.
Yeah. Well, I was talking about the ACC teams earlier that I was searching to find one and that kind of stuff.
I kind of want to talk about something real quick before we get off. There was a topic I kind of wanted to bring up just towards the end of the show here. Did you hear the comments that I can't remember if it was a player, I think it was Alabama. The coach said they had piped in noise at Tennessee, at Neyland Stadium, and why would you say something like that? And make and turn that into a positive for that fan base in that stadium. Like, that's like, me going into a whole backyard of Rottweilers that are biting, that bite, and me sticking my hand in it. Like,
okay.
I just didn't agree with those comments. That was just something.
Right.
I just didn't think that was a smart comment to make. Like,
I can't remember who said it. I remember hearing somebody said it, but I can't remember who said it. Was it a team that they played?
It might have been. It might have been Alabama. I can't remember. It was some team that said they had popped in noise, and I've been there, and I know you hate Tennessee with a passion. I know you hate them more than anything in this world, but that's one of the best home field advantages in college football.
I can't.
You
could, if John Hammonds, if you told me you were going to give me $100,000 to go to a Tennessee game, I don't think I'd do it.
I'm just telling you. I've been there. I've witnessed it. That place is not a pipe noise. That place is loud. And
it would make me sick to my stomach. I don't think I could do it. I do not think I could do it.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
No, I would be so sick. You have no idea. I can't do it. No.
Oh goodness, I just have to pick at you sometimes.
I'm gonna cut you off. Is what I'm gonna do.
Why?
I can't do it.
You will never catch me in Neyland, he said. Oh goodness.
I'm telling y'all, and I know people. If people get a take of that and post it out there, people will tell me how stupid I am. I get it. I really do. But I'm telling y'all, I don't think I could do it.
Yeah. But fun show tonight, Brad.
Our special guest tonight was Jake Crain of Crain and Company. He is there on the Daily Wire.
It was fun the time he was here.
And I just want to give yeah, I just want to give a big shout out to Jake. We appreciate you being on. Jake said he'd come back another time and be a part of our show. He's a great dude. He's a great analyst, and we appreciate him being here. So I
Jerry
want
Carter
to
said,
go with that, and then
110 grand and a couple of Xanax. I will deal with it in Tennessee for 3 hours.
I don't know, Jerry. I'm telling you, y'all think like I'm telling you. I don't know. I don't think I could do it.
I don't know. We have to be some strong medicine for Brad to get in there. Very, very stout.
My God, y'all have no idea. I'm telling you right now.
Oh goodness.
And I know that's dumb. Okay, so I mean I get it.
Hey, you know what I'm excited about? I'm excited about our.
That's how deep it goes for me.
I'm excited about our Kentucky Big Blue show this week coming up after recapping the first exhibition game. Boy.
Yep.
The basketball team looks spicy.
Boys and girls, I'm telling you guys, get on the train because the girls team is going to make a run in the NCAA tournament as well. So, they're both new eras, new coaches, almost brand new teams. The girls have 2 players back. The boys basically have none. So I mean, but great teams. Both of them, great coaches, and we're going to be doing the Big Blue Hoops cast this year each week and kind of previewing the week's games and reviewing, what's happened and looking ahead and things like that. So the last thing I want to say here real quick, can we please fix officiating in college football? I mean, I don't understand why we have replay if it doesn't work right. If you can't fix replay, here's what I want to say. If you can't fix it and you can't get it right, then get rid of it. I would rather live with missed calls on the field like the old days. I would rather, because you are going to miss calls. You're not going to get everything right. If you can't get the replay right, I can't stand stopping the game for 5 minutes listening to these ignorant people talk on the TV that don't know they're from a hole in the ground. And I started to, and then having to wait 5 minutes, and they do this 12 times a game, and 6 or 8 of them are not even close to being right.
Here's
if you
what
can't get it right, take it out of the game.
Here's what I want to say about this, and we'll go. I don't know if you watched the Minnesota Vikings and the Rams game the other night, but there was a call in that game late. The Rams player had Sam Darnold's hand in his face mask and had his head turned sideways.
Oh, I mean, it was a good jerk. I saw it.
And the ref,
good, like you can see.
I'm not sure if the ref was standing there or if he was blocked from seeing it, but it was plain as day.
According to what they said, they were blocked from seeing it, and he couldn't see it. The one that was supposed to be watching it is what was told.
But I agree with you.
And that's what I'm talking about. You are going to miss calls sometimes. It's a human thing. I mean, it's going to happen. My problem with officiating is the replay. I cannot stand the stoppage of time and the jibber jabber back and forth with these idiots on TV and having to listen to this for 5 minutes and everything and going to an extra commercial break and all this stuff all the time, 6, 8, 10, 12 times a game.
Hey, Brad.
And you can't even get the call right.
Hey, Brad, you think that's bad? We're going to go to the scores table in college basketball this year again. I had to say it. Get ready because it's coming. We're going to stop another play. 2 minutes to go. We're going to stop another play. We're going to stop another one at 1 minute. We're going to stop another one at 12 seconds. Like, that's where I have an issue in college basketball. We have these stoppages of plays. Like it usually starts with 2 minutes to go in the game. You're going to the monitor every 5 minutes to check a play or a replay. Like, it gets exhausting.
5 seconds? What are you talking about?
It's usually longer than that. It's probably like 20, 30 seconds. But
after further review, this shit is annoying.
Oh, I just got something to say. It's Friday night. I got something to say real quick. I know Jerry Carter's on here. Sunday night, the Cowboys play the 49ers. Jerry, good luck. And may the best practice squad win.
Can both teams lose? Can both teams lose? Just asking for a friend.
Can the Packers lose? Oh,
hush now.
I love you, Jerry. I love you. Praying for your aunt. He messaged me earlier this week and said that his aunt had been sick, and I told him that I was praying for her. So much love to you, Jerry. I love you, brother. No, I will not cheer for the 49ers. I will be cheering for the Dallas Cowboys.
I don't like
49ers,
either one of them, Jerry.
Here's the problem with the 49ers. when Dwight Clark caught that touchdown pass and beat my Cowboys, they're left a hard spot in my heart for many, many years. So the 49ers have been on my crap list for over 30 years, 20 years. So, but anyways.
Most of my life.
Yeah,
been on mine. Yeah. I can tell you that. All right. We're going to wrap this up. Appreciate Jake Crain being with us tonight. Maybe we will get him back. And hopefully when we do, he might have a little bit more time. But some of these bigger guys like that, I mean, they have time constraints, and it's hard to get them on for an hour and a half.
Brad,
and things of that nature.
Brad almost went postal on the replay tonight. So you got the good Brad compared to the usually wild and antic Brad.
Hey, I'm pretty passionate when it comes to it. So
yeah, you are. Everybody get off here and watch Boise State and UNLV. It's getting ready to come on. It's going to be a good football game tonight.
Yep. It's getting ready to come on. And go Broncos.
Go Ashton Genty.
I'm saying I'm not talking about the Denver Broncos, guys. I'm talking about Boise State.
Boise State, yep.
Y'all have a good night.
It's been